Hi, my name's Emma and I'm one of the teachers here at TeachStarter. I was a teacher for 7 years working at a number of schools in Brisbane, and I am super excited to talk to you about what you should be doing to have a successful first day of school. When it's coming up to the first day of school, your brain will be buzzing. You will be nervous, you'll be excited. It doesn't matter whether it's your 7th year of teaching or your first year of teaching. So I hope to give you some advice and get you on the right track so that you feel a little bit more prepared. Leading up to the first day, there are a couple of things that can get you off on the right track. So making sure that you've got all of your technology sorted out. Do you know how to connect your laptop to your projector or to your interactive whiteboard? Are you sure that the kids have got their own technology set up? Is it plugged in? Is it charging? If they've got passwords to things, do they know where they are? Are they going to be easily accessible for the kids? And most importantly, are you sure that your technology will be working on the first day? So that's number one. Number two, you want to make sure that you have some nice displays in your room so that your kids feel welcome, that it's a nice, colourful and warm learning environment. And you want to make sure that you've left a little bit of room for your kids to have their own work put up on the walls, and that will help them really, really feel like it's their own place of learning. One of the things that I like to do to get my classroom ready for the first day of school is to create a place for everything that needs to be put away or tidied up throughout the rest of the school year. So you might have an area where you want to instruct your kids to leave their drink bottles. Perhaps you have a special drawer that you want them to leave their stationery in. I've got a couple of resources here that I'm going to be showing you throughout the video that you might like to incorporate in your classroom as you get it ready for the first day of school. So these are a couple of tray labels that you can get on the TeachStarter website. You can edit the titles on these tray labels so you can have them say whatever you need them to say. I've printed a couple out for different books that the kids might be using throughout the year, and once they're done with those books they can simply pop them back in the tray, or they know where to go and collect them from if they need to for a lesson. One of the other most important things about getting your classroom ready for the first day of school is to make sure the kids feel like they belong there. So maybe you want to have some name tags on the door, maybe you want to have a name tag on each of the students' desks, or for example in an area where they can leave their bags. That's a really great way of making kids feel like they belong. So it's the first day of school and you are buzzing with nerves. You've had a good night's sleep the night before and you are there nice and early, making sure that everything is ready for the day. You might want to make sure that you have got something set up so that when the parents are dropping off their kids, they can streamline the process as much as possible. I really like to print off a Meet the Teacher template off the TeachStarter website, and this gives the parents something to read. So if I'm having a chat to another family and I don't get a chance to greet immediately every person that walks into my room, they can have a look at this Meet the Teacher. They can read some things about me to talk to their kids about and make sure that their kids know who the teacher is that they're going to have for the rest of the year. Maybe there are some important dates on there. If the parents can't hang around for you to be free to have a chat with, it's a really good idea to have some contact information as well. So you can either print this off and put it on each child's desk for the children to give to their parents, or you can print a nice large one and have it on display on your whiteboard or on your door or something like that. As the kids come into the classroom on the first day of school, they are also going to be buzzing with excitement. So putting in some structure and some direction for where they should be going and what they should be doing is really important, and the parents will appreciate that too. So make sure you're there nice and early. The parents might be showing up anywhere between 45 minutes to half an hour before school starts, and they'll probably have bags of stationery, a drink bottle, things that need to be put away. So if you can leave some directions or some instructions for where to put these things, the parents will really appreciate it. So I like to allow the parents a little bit of time to make sure their kids have settled in, to make sure that their things have been put where they need to be, that they know where they're going to sit, and that they know how they're getting picked up in the afternoon. If you would like, you can have a little chart on your wall that tells each kid where they should be getting picked up from or what time their parent might be coming to pick them up in the afternoon. Normally, if they're going to drop off or after school care, they'll know a little bit about this already, but it's also helpful for you to know where each child is going when the final bell rings. And then you can get on with the exciting part of starting your day with the kids. Your whole first day is really about making connections with your students. It's about building those foundations so that you can have a successful school year and so that you can work with your students as a team to achieve everything they need to achieve in their learning journey. A great thing to do is to give each student a little name tag to wear for the day so that you can refer to them by name and so that you can keep an eye on who's who and make sure that you are learning their names as quickly as possible. This is particularly important if you are new to the school or if you are having students who are new to the school, because you might have a student who has come from a very different school and they're joining a class of kids who've all been in the same grade as each other. If you have given every child a name tag, there's no excuse for kids to not feel included or to feel like they don't know who they're talking to or where they're supposed to be. This is a really lovely affirmations theme pack that we have got on the TeachStarter website, and as you can see, you can get it in a range of different resources as well. Once everybody's settled in and you have got your class quiet and listening on your bated breath, it's a great idea to start off with some icebreaker activities. Like I said, you might have kids who have been in the same class for a number of years, but they have been on holiday for a little while, so it's a good idea to get their brains working and to get them back into a school frame of mind. For the younger kids, that might be giving them an activity such as All About Me Bunting. So this is getting them to introduce themselves to you a little bit as well. And it's also getting them settled and into the routine of working at their desks without demanding anything too much of them. You might like to give them something really fun like a word search with all the children's names on it. This is a good activity to start off your day with because they can settle in and get started. If anybody's running late or if anybody is still putting things away, the rest of the class can work independently on this one. You can download that with your class list using our Make a Word Search widget on the TeachStarter website. For the upper years, you might like to give them a little bit more of a structured activity. So something like a STEM challenge might be a good idea. Giving them something to do to help them promote their teamwork. Maybe you can assess as they're going on, some formative assessment of who has some good leadership skills or how they can work cooperatively. If you're not quite ready to release them off into the world of STEM yet, because it might be a little bit tricky if they're still a bit excited for the first day of school, how about a whole class activity such as using our Would You Rather cards to create some discussion? And you could use these cards in a number of ways, such as persuasive writing activity or a for and against activity, something like that. Just something to get their brains fired up on the first day in the morning. Once the morning is over and your class have settled down a little bit, it might be a great idea to get them together to talk about how the rest of the school year will look. You are the boss in the classroom and you are the leader, but kids like to feel like they have ownership of how things are going to go. And this can help them feel a little bit more accountable down the track if they feel like they aren't working as well as they can in the classroom. You might like to create a set of class rules with your students and create some posters together about what your expectations are in the classroom. You might like to sit down and create a classroom contract with your students. So that is them putting their ideas to you about what they should be doing to achieve what they can in the classroom, how they should be behaving, and what expectations they should have of themselves and each other. We do have some really helpful classroom contract task cards on the TeachStarter website. Here's just a few of them. So asking kids to discuss what health and well-being in the classroom will look like. What does mindfulness in the classroom look like? That's a really important term this year. What does respect in the classroom look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like to be respected in the classroom? Safety. So there are quite a few more cards that you can discuss with your class about how to create a classroom contract and what a successful classroom can look like. You might also like to talk to your class about what your expectations are with their bookwork, with the tidiness of the classroom environment. Those kinds of things can really help set up a successful year. And making sure that you enforce those kinds of things can help set up for a successful year as well. Now, you don't want to hit your kids with too much curriculum-heavy content on the first day of school. As I said, it's all about building connections and making sure that you and your class feel like a team ready to take on the year. So if you are wanting to give them some games or some easier activities which can help get their brains buzzing and get them ready for the rest of the week and for the rest of the term, it might be a great opportunity for you to do some formative assessment of what their capabilities are and what they are able to do. Putting out some maths rotation games, a literacy bingo activity, for example, or something as simple as putting a few books of different levels around and having some quiet reading time. If you observe your children participating in these activities, you can tell so much about what they can remember from the year before and how confident they feel in their learning. So putting some formative assessment tasks out there is a great idea to do on the first day of school as well. For the upper years, you might like to give them a writing activity. Perhaps they want to write to a prep student to explain to them how a first day of school should go. Or maybe they want to do a recount, which is a classic favourite of what they've done on the holidays. My personal favourite is a letter to the teacher explaining a little bit more about themselves and introducing themselves, which is a really easy way to get kids writing. Kids love to talk about themselves, so if you want to learn a little bit about how they write and what their capabilities are, just get them to write you a letter introducing themselves. Now, throughout the day, of course, you will need to have a break. If it's lunchtime or morning tea, or if you get afternoon recess at your school, it's a great idea, if you don't have a lunchtime duty, to go and have a wander around the playground, check and see how your kids are going. Make sure that they know where they are, what the expectations are for play and eating, and that they know where you are if they have an emergency. This is especially important in the younger years where kids might not know any other teachers in the school. If they have a problem, they know where they can find you. If you're easily accessible for them, it'll help them alleviate some of their first day of school jitters as well. Now, of course, in the afternoon, everybody will be tired. You'll be tired because you've just had a break and you are getting back into the rhythm of things, and your kids will be tired as well. So don't push them too hard. Maybe you want to share a classroom story. There's nothing like a shared book to solidify a relationship with your students. If you are in the upper years, starting off a class novel for the term is a really great way of drawing the kids back into the classroom after lunch and engaging them in some adventurous stories. You may want to give your kids an activity to take home on the first day of school, but chances are they will be as worn out as you are. So helping them get a good night's sleep and letting them come back to school the next day refreshed and ready to start their learning is a really great idea. You can also be kind to yourself because you have worked really hard to pull everything together. The first day of school can be a stressful one, but it is also an amazing one because you set up yourself for the rest of the year. Even if not everything went to plan, even if a child was crying or if a child didn't know where to go or what to do, you have done all that you can and you are an incredible teacher. Make sure that you're ready for the next day and then go home, get some takeout and congratulate yourself on a job well done.